of it. Also, China #1. So, Asian games are winning everything. They're the best. Wait a second. I've never seen you around. It must be new. Welcome to the gang. Asian games have been winning the year. Everything Asian's been freaking fantastic. And there's a reason for that. Asian video games have taken center stage. They've captured the attention and admiration of all of us. And it's worldwide, by the way. Because they've produced fantastic games, groundbreaking games from Japan, South Korea, China. And these games have set new standards for quality and creativity. Redefining what makes a game fun and immersive and rewarding. And why do we play games? Because we want to be immersed, we want to have fun, and we want to feel rewarded. Japan is known for revolutionizing the RPG genre and crafting some of the most memorable characters and stories in gaming. If you think back, you'll remember yourself all the games, the consoles themselves, everything comes from Japan. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for example, The Journey of Cloud and his allies. This year released an expansion, a remake. Square Enix took everything fans loved about the original and pushed it further. And that's the way to go, right? You want to please the people you're trying to sell your product to. It has jaw-dropping graphics. It has intricate combat. It has a richly expanded story. It's an experience that's both nostalgic and fresh. And it's a testament to Japanese developers' dedication to preserving gaming legacy. All the while innovating. They always bring something new. Think of PUBG. Perhaps it wasn't the very first BR, but it certainly was the biggest one and the one that brought a wave of BRs to the gaming industry. They completely innovated the shooting genre. PUBG is a Korean developer, as we all know. We got games like Dragon's Dogma 2 this year by Capcom, and it takes RPGs to new heights. They gave us this new system of creating your custom companions and giving them an AI brain that made this game really original, special, fun. It had refined mechanics. Overall, the fighting was fantastic. It was broader. It's a dynamic world, dynamic companions. It's a sequel that kept player constantly engaged. It offers crazy freedom, creativity, and challenges that are actually exhilarating. It had innovation. It had fun factor. It had new mechanics. This is what a true developer does for us. We got other games this year, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It's the latest installment in the Yakuza series. It's blending the franchise's traditional quirks, but it brought new gameplay mechanics again. This game doesn't shy away from being different. It's funny, emotional, unapologetically creative. It's a reminder that games can balance a rich story with over-the-top action. Then we got Metaphor ReFantazio, which came out recently, which I haven't played yet. I've seen a lot of it. It's another highly anticipated RPG that's has creativity oozing from every pore. The menu style that's really gorgeous, to gorgeous environments, art. It brings a new world of immersive storytelling and tactical gameplay. Many are already speculating that it could be a contender for Game of the Year, which doesn't honestly surprise me. Of course, we also gotta give credit to South Korea's Stellar Blade, formerly known as Project Eve. It has intense, action-driven combat with a hauntingly beautiful sci-fi setting. You thought I was gonna say something else, but I am gonna say that other thing. It has a beautiful protagonist, and yes, that does matter. Games are art. We want everything beautiful. We want eye candy. We want fun candy. We want candy all over the place. This game redefines high-stakes gameplay. It's stylish, thrilling, and showcases the visual and mechanical mastery of this Korean studio. Stellar Blade captures our imagination. It prioritizes fun, exhilarating fun, fast-paced combat over the agendas and overcomplicated mechanics. And of course, China, the biggest this year, with Black Myth Wukong, which was stunningly gorgeous. That's inspired by the legendary tale of Journey to the West. The game's visuals are breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. And the combat feels epic, combining traditional lore with modern graphics, fast-paced mechanics. It's easy to see why Wukong is capturing global attention. It sold millions of copies. Its developers are focused on delivering a visually compelling, entertaining experience, and if they're gonna educate us on anything, it's on a different culture, it's on a different history, it's on different mythology. something we're all curious about. Of course, Withering Waves by Kuro Games is visually arresting as well. It's a beautiful open world RPG with strong emphasis on exploration and intense combat. Also Chinese. It's easy to lose hours just roaming the vast world they've created. Withering Waves reminds me of the exploration, adventure, and the skill at heart of what makes a game enjoyable. We have multiple other games like Lost Soul Aside that brings an action-packed gameplay with cinematics, high energy style, inspired by Final Fantasy and Devil May Cry. And of course, I'd like to mention that these studios also make indie games. The Japanese studio that created Palworld, even though it's a close cousin of Pokemon, they added so much spice to it, so many different things to it, so many different game mechanics to it that they made it into a completely different game, into a more fun, perhaps, game than Pokemon with the guns. And I should also mention a beautiful game that I recently found out about called Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess. And that game is currently on Steam. It's by Capcom. Came out a couple months ago. It's it looks gorgeous. There's a demo on Steam you can try. So yeah, Asian studios are really kicking butt. They prioritize what makes games fundamentally enjoyable. Engaging gameplay, captivating worlds, unforgettable stories. And these games don't push any heavy-handed agendas or educational content or re-educational content or social issues that we are trying to escape from. Some will say there are politics in games. The politics that are in games, in most of the games that we play, particularly fantasy games, are fantasy politics. They're imaginary. They're like Game of Thrones. It's one thing to watch Kamala versus Trump, and it's another thing to watch Khaleesi, Daenerys Targaryen, against Cersei. You're not gonna tell me those two things are the same. One thing is a lot more fun than the other. Let me tell you. There's been a lot of preoccupation with messaging over gameplay in the West. We want to emphasize the quality and creativity and push the boundaries of art, storytelling, design. Fortunately and unfortunately, it doesn't look like those are gonna stop. On the Western side, even though so many studios have fallen and taken down some of the best IPs we grew up with, they're still seemingly insisting to go that path, while Asian games seem to be continuing their path, which seems to be much more popular with gamers. China certainly isn't stopping. We got wuchang Fallen Feathers that looks even better than Wukong. It's one of China's most highly anticipated action RPGs. It's set in ancient China. It's a dark, atmospheric title that draws from the Chinese history and mythology, so quite a bit like Wukong, but a different story. Similar in style to Bloodborne, but it's deeply rooted in Chinese culture. It's a gritty world and a mysterious world and a mysterious storyline. We've already been intrigued. We already want this game. I would like to also mention that Death Stranding is coming from Japan. That's also quite anticipated, let me tell you. From myself, especially. There's Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We have Project M from South Korea. We have, of course, Monster Hunter Wilds, which is about to explode on release day. So yeah, Asian companies are really working hard to please us, and it's working. Asian games are excelling because they stay true to what makes gaming great. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Tencent has been investing and buying aggressively in the West. Some would call that a good thing because, hey, why not bring some of that culture and some of that work ethic into the West and create better games for us with Western IPs? But then they're also known to be the kings of monetization. And we don't want those to end up inside our games, because, you know, it's a double-edged sword with Tencent. I hope I don't regret all the words I've said today, but so far, so good. We've had a wonderful year in games thanks to the Asian developers, and looks like next year is gonna be even better. Arigato gozaimasu.